star rating on this episode.
We said this is Summers Off After Dark.
So romantic.
Oh my gosh, my loins are burning.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What's your favorite phrase from Bridgerton?
I burn for you.
Yeah, but say it like in the moment.
I burn for you.
Happy Valentine's Day, you little sweet peas.
Yes.
Rach, what's your favorite, term of endearment? Like sweet peas, sunny bunny, or...
honestly, I like darling and I like dear. I think those are really sweet.
You are like a 98-year-old Mildred right now.
I think they're the sweetest things. You asked.
Not buttercup? Not sugar pie?
No, those kind of sound artificial and not endearing.
No, they're not.
They're just surfacey. They're just silly. It's just a silly name.
Okay.
These other ones, they just mean more. There's more heart in it.
Well, speaking of heart, we picked a movie with a ton of heart. We picked one of the top 10 most romantic movies of all time.
So
Eat your heart
romantic.
out. Notebook, Casablanca, Sleepless in Seattle, Pretty Woman, Shakespeare in Love, and Cruel Intentions.
So romantic.
Oh my gosh, my loins are burning.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What's your favorite phrase from Bridgerton?
I burn for you.
Yeah, but say it like in the moment.
I burn for you.
Is it the Duke? Is that what he says?
Yes.
Is that how he talks?
Sure. I don't know.
I burn for you.
No.
I burn for you.
Someone has clearly not watched Bridgerton.
Yeah, I've not. I've only seen the 1,000 sex scenes because every time I looked up from my video game, it was another sex scene.
Yeah.
So
well, you get what you pay for.
perfect for this time of year. We'll go watch Bridgerton,
Mm-hmm.
and then go watch Cruel Intentions, and just feel your heart swell.
Ache.
Ache.
Swell.
Yep.
And ache.
Speaking of aching, we're aching for some reviews and ratings.
Oh, what a great segue, babe.
Kind of.
That's pretty
So
good.
if you have a second, we'd love it if you just took a little minute moment in your life and you just say, hey, I'm just going to go rate and review Ty and Rach because I love these guys. These guys are so funny and so great. Rach.
Yeah.
We just told our audience what movie we watched today.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to hear you talk about the movie we watched today.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what to prepare for if we were to embark on the journey of Cruel Intentions.
Yeah. So based off of a play,
Yeah.
originally
And from the 1700s.
from the 1700s,
Restoration
called, it translates to Dangerous Liaisons.
time. Les liaisons dangereuses.
That is the French version.
That's
Les
what it was.
Liaisons dangereuses.
It was a French play.
And you'll have to tell me how closely it mirrors it. I can't really remember. I know I've watched both movies.
You watched it?
Yeah, we've watched Dangerous Liaisons.
I didn't watch it with you.
You didn't?
Nope. I watched it. You were sleeping right next to me when I watched it
Oh.
during COVID.
Oh.
I watched it in
Maybe
South
I wasn't
Sioux.
sleeping.
It is incredibly close.
Yeah.
Incredibly
Yeah.
close.
So that explains a lot.
Yep.
So anyways, you've got this kind of playboy main character. We'll call him Sebastian.
Same name, Sebastian Belmont.
Oh, wow.
Belmont? Belmont? I don't
Really? No
remember.
one cares.
From the Dangerous Liaisons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he has a stepsister. Also the same story. Are they just friends in the
They're
Dangerous
just,
Liaisons?
I don't remember. They might be cousins or something.
Acquaintances.
But yeah, they're like accomplices.
Sure,
with each other.
accomplices.
Yep.
So we've got these
They
kind of
definitely want to F.
Yeah.
Same plan.
Yeah. They're kind of like rebels without a cause. They're very much the rule of the school, but are rebel. I already said rebels. I don't know how to describe it. How do you describe them? Like,
well, yeah, because
who
they're not
are
even
these
rebels.
Who are
they're
these
like
characters?
They're like maniacal manipulators.
Yeah.
Who want to manipulate everybody around them into like completely stealing all power away from all entities and just lording over everybody.
Yeah, they're a bit like psychopathic, a
Yeah,
little bit.
for
so
sure.
we've got these two like kind of like sexy psychopaths who are brother and sister.
So sexy
through marriage.
psychopaths.
So they're stepbrother and sister.
Double S, psychopath.
Essentially, they make a bet that Sebastian won't be able to have sex with this new gal. I was going to call her a debutante, who's starting at their school this year, who's the headmaster's daughter. She's made it very clear that she wants to wait for marriage, et cetera, et cetera. And so he thinks that he can change her mind.
He can make her his conquest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so
You're just a conquest.
Bet on it. That is what he says, isn't it?
He does.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I need to get. I mean, that's the big piece of it, right?
Then there's side stories and stuff, but we'll get into it.
Sums it up more or less. There's, side characters that get kind of muddied in there. So, but that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have a guess on when this movie came out?
When it came out? Did it come out in 1999?
Boom. Nailed it.
I got it? Oh,
yep. It was up for the Oscar against Shakespeare in Love and Saving Private Ryan.
What?
Yeah, and it lost Best Picture.
It was not up for an Oscar.
Well, it was probably up like if you did all the movies that were up that year before they whittled it down to 6 or 10. I think it was 6 at that time.
There's no
but yeah, it was up for it. It qualified as a movie that was made at that time period. That was probably on a short list of about 200 films. And then they whittled down to 6.
This does not an Oscar movie make.
So kind of surprising that it lost out on Best Picture to those two.
Very surprising.
Yep.
Very.
Yeah.
I bet everyone was up in arms about it.
I feel like they would be.
Selma Blair should be really upset that she lost that nom.
Best Supporting Actress should have got it, but
she carried the film on her tiny shoulders.
So 99, what year were we in school?
As we always like to I like to ground it in reality so we can all kind of
go back in time.
1999, that would have been 6th grade.
That was 6th grade. You are absolutely correct. It was in the spring of 6th grade.
Yeah.
I did not see this movie at that time.
I didn't either.
No,
I wouldn't have known what to think.
I didn't know about any of that stuff yet. I was probably an 8th or 9th grader when I saw this.
Okay.
Do you know how old you were?
I don't, but that sounds right to me as well. Obviously, I had seen it in high school at some point, but I don't remember when.
Oh,
You remember, obviously.
Well, okay, here's what I know. I know that my dad belonged to Columbia House Movies. Mm-hmm. I know that he had the subscription where I got to pick out movies every once in a while that we got to get. Mm-hmm. And I know that I got Cruel Intentions on VHS. I still have it. Mm-hmm. And then I know that I already had that VHS when I was a freshman in high school because I used some of the lines in the movie during a breakup. I was hanging out.
Wait, what lines?
I was hanging out with Jeff and Mike.
Uh-huh.
And there's the lines about how, like, you're such a hypocrite. Here's love standing right in front of you. You're just going to turn your back on it.
Oh, no.
Yep.
You're a hypocrite, and I don't associate with hypocrites.
How am I a hypocrite?
Oh, please, Annette, you spend all your time preaching about waiting for love. Well, here it is, right in front of you, and you're going to turn your back on it. I'll move on. But you are going to have to spend the rest of your life knowing that you've turned your back on love. And that makes you a hypocrite.
And I was hanging out with my best friends, Jeff and Mike, and the breakup was happening. I didn't really even care. I was just like hanging out with my buddies, having a great time. And they're like, "Oh, you should totally say that to her on AIM." And so I did.
Wow.
Yep. And then I had a friend who dated her afterwards, and he's like, "Hey, she said you were like in love with her." I was like, "Oh no, that's like a whole story." I was not in love with her.
Well, I
literally was just in love with Cruel Intentions and using the lines in the movie in a just and fun way. So.
In a just and fun way. No wonder she thought you loved her. You quoted Cruel Intentions to her.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know. So the facts are, I definitely knew this movie very well.
Wow.
Freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
This and American Pie, I think I knew too well.
I think you probably maybe made most of your high school experience to try to match as evenly with Sebastian as possible. Is that what you were kind of going for?
Would you say that
a bad boy?
I'm kind of like that, two-faced, really charismatic though, and charming.
Yeah.
Girls all want to hook up with him. I was kind of a player in high school.
Definitely a player. That's one thing I know.
Yeah, this is another ex-girlfriend's mom would once call me. I'm kind of a player. Never had kissed anybody. I was a player.
Yeah.
And
you know what you did.
So yeah, I think I definitely modeled my career off of him. I think I still am.
I would say yeah. 1,000%.
Oh, no, we'll get into this later.
Okay.
But I said something to you last night that you got very upset.
I did?
Yeah.
Was it when you wanted to name one of our babies Sebastian?
No, but that is the thing we can talk
Because I'm also I'm still upset about that. You bring that up.
I told you I thought it would be a great name. It's in my top 3 names.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love Sebastian as a baby name. I just
Well,
don't.
yeah, but you're thinking about him as a baby. That's a big name for a baby. That's a great name for a man.
I guess. I don't know. Just table it.
Yeah, just table it. Just table it.
Mull
And
it
folks,
over.
what's exciting for you guys is you get to wait to see how this plays out. So, let's get into a little bit of pre-production for this guy.
If we must.
So, same director and writer. They did double duty. His name was Roger Cumble. He wrote this bad boy in how many days?
5.
More than that.
No. It was already written. What did he have to do?
He had
to translate it.
Yeah, he had to translate it.
Someone else translated
from
it.
French.
Which was already done for him by somebody.
No, it was already done because Dangerous Liaisons came out in the late 80s.
It's a play, yeah.
Yeah.
10 days.
12 days.
Aha.
Yeah.
I see.
So he wanted this to be a very dark high school movie. There was some movie that he was really into at the time. I don't remember the name of it. I didn't even write it down.
Dead Poet
It was
Society.
that unimportant. No, I would remember that one. That's a great movie.
I was trying to think a dark high school movie.
So he wanted this dark high school movie based on Les Liaisons Dangereuses, and it was called Cruel Inventions.
Well, that's not right.
No, it's not right.
Who told him?
So he decided to change it to Cruel Intentions when they finally started to show test audiences. And test audiences were like, this title is really stupid. It sounds like it's like a science fiction alien movie. So we need to do something different. He's like, oh, I'm just going to change one letter. V to T, Cruel Intentions.
I love test audiences. They're so wise.
They are. And
that's incredible.
Why? I've been on one test audience group.
You have?
Yeah, I was. And it was for TV mounting equipment.
Oh, okay.
It was when I worked at Best Buy.
Sure.
They brought me in to talk about TV mounting equipment. And
yeah,
that was the only thing I ever got to do. And I think I have so much more to offer the world.
I have opinions.
I have so many.
Okay, now that you say that, I too was a part of a test audience.
What?
Yeah, it was random. So I was in Texas and I was at the mall. And
this sounds like a made-up story.
No,
I already don't believe it.
No, this is real. 100% this is real. And we got asked, some friends and I got asked to be mini test audience. I should have said no. This is already very scary.
This sounds like Sebastian trying to hook up with girls right now.
With this person to this kind of back room at the mall.
What?
And then we watched these videos okay, what was this movie called? Okay, it had a kangaroo in it, and it was a lion.
Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah.
With the sunglasses.
Yes. And I don't remember the questions that they asked, but we watched like a trailer for it, and then we had some questions we have to answer about how stupid we thought it looked. And apparently they didn't take my feedback because they still made the movie. So I was not taken very seriously as a test audience person.
Maybe you should have been more blunt.
Yeah.
With them. Like, you're very blunt now, but I feel like back then you'd be like, I don't know, I could see how this movie might be kind of fun.
His hoodie's kind of fun. I love the glasses. That could be cool.
Yeah, you needed to be more blunt with them. So this guy this is his very first movie. Cruel Intentions is.
Wow.
And the only reason he got to do this is because he had written a play like a year or so earlier, and he convinced David Schwimmer to be in it. and David
Oh.
Schwimmer was at the height of Friends. And so he did his play. The play got really good reviews. I think it was an off-Broadway play. And then people were like, "Oh, you're that guy who did that David Schwimmer play? Yeah, we'll give you tons of money to write this Cruel Intentions thing that you want to do so bad." Was he pitched this project to people?
Wow.
You wouldn't know this director from a lot of other things. He did this movie called The Sweetest Thing, which is known as one of the worst movies of all time.
I do know that movie.
You know that movie?
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very bad.
Yeah, is it? Selma Blair's in it, too.
It's very bad.
Well, you can put it on the list because I've never seen it. And then he did a movie that I think we both enjoy. Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that's a fun one.
I like that one. He used to be the fat kid. I think that's a really fun movie.
That's a fun one.
So, okay, if you remember Dangerous Liaisons, what do you remember about it? Like, not plot-wise, but, like, do you remember thinking it was good? Did you like it? What'd you think?
Oh, I think the plot is interesting as a story. I don't remember how that one ends. Obviously, he must die as well.
I think it's in a duel.
In a duel? Who does he duel?
I think
the
Ronald
same guy.
character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think it's a perfectly good story.
I might be making that up.
Yeah.
I saw it once during the pandemic, late at night while you were sleeping. I don't really remember it.
I think on a whole, I think the story is interesting and it's kind of a classic. And apparently this is a good adaptation of said story.
Yeah. So I was on a website where they literally took like plot point by plot point and matched it between the two movies, and it's just startling like how they captured so many things about the original text. I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody thinks this is like Glenn Close's like best performance ever. I thought
Who does she play in it? Is she the sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
She's strong enough of an actress. I think that she would be really good in that role.
Yeah.
That's a good role.
Sure.
It's a meaty role.
Yep.
It's a
And then
weird role.
Michelle Pfeiffer's the Reese Witherspoon part, and
Interesting.
and oh gosh, what's his name? Death of a Salesman and Con Air. He's Simon.
John Malkovich.
Yep, John Malkovich plays.
Yeah, which is
Sebastian.
not like the main like love.
No,
so
he's not attractive enough.
Not.
And maybe that was my problem because
Yeah.
Glenn Close isn't attractive enough either. And it's like all these people that they're gonna do,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't understand why everybody thinks these guys are so hot.
Yeah.
And they're really not that charismatic. Like John Malkovich has this like hoity-toity like delivery of a lot of things.
Sure.
Where he can be a little heady and a little like pompous. And I just
Pompous,
never,
yep,
I
that's a
never
good
saw it. I just never saw how that character worked. But people freaking love that movie.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not one of them. I think it's just whatever. So how old do you think all these characters are in this movie?
In this movie?
Yep, in Cruel Intentions.
Well, they're supposed to be in high school, and I mean, while they're all obviously in their 20s, I think they're both supposed to be juniors, except for Selma Blair, who's like a freshman.
Selma Blair's supposed to be 15.
Oh gosh.
And the other three are all supposed to be 17. They're supposed to be going into their senior year.
Okay.
Yep. So this is going to be their last
So
year
I
before
nailed
college.
it. I nailed it.
But they still look, even though they're not that much older than that, when I'll have all the ages for everybody, but I think they all play like early 20s.
Yeah, they're made to look and dress like sophisticated Upper East Siders, this like other like level of wealth that's just beyond anyone's comprehension, really.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, all very sophisticated private school kids.
So Sarah Michelle Gellar.
About that little wager of yours. Count me in.
She'll be the first person that we talk about. So he's got to cast all these sexy 17-year-olds. He's figuring out what he's going to do.
Knocking it out of the park right off the
He
bat.
actually talks to the person who was in charge, was the producer for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh.
And they were like, hey, you got to get, not Freddie Prinze or Jennifer Love Hewitt, you got to get Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe. By the way, no, I messed up. Okay, let's address this now.
You're right.
No, last episode, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the video that I had put on here, and it was like, Felipe.
It is not Philippe, neither is it Philippe, but rather Felipe. Ryan Felipe.
Ryan Phillippe. You guys remember Ryan Phillippe?
Starring Juliette Lewis and Ryan Phillippe.
On ABC, please welcome Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah.
That was wrong.
That was wrong.
I watched 5 more videos of him like on late night shows.
Yeah.
And it is Philippi.
Well,
Philip E.
I can only hear the recording that you put in my head now.
I know. But
Oh,
that
no.
education, I got fooled by it too, everybody. I'm sorry I propagated the wrong ideas.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we all got fooled.
Philippi.
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 Philip E.
Philip E.
So both of them, the producer was like, you got to cast these two. He wasn't so sure about Ryan, though.
Oh, really?
At first, though, Sarah Michelle Gellar, he was in.
Yeah.
She was, she had done I Know What You Did Last Summer in 97, so 2 years before this. It was season 4 of Buffy. Think you're ever going to watch Buffy?
I don't think so.
I don't think I will either.
Maybe a little bit, but I can't see myself getting through the whole thing. I know some people who are big Buffy fans are like, how have you not? I don't know. I don't like.
It's a lot of
I don't like
seasons.
scary vampires. That could be a part of it. It looks like a little scary, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very scary.
You don't think so?
No.
I think it looks a little.
I think it's going to be about as scary as Twilight. Maybe.
Oh, that's very scary.
Yeah, you were not scared at all. You
No,
lied.
I was not scared.
Then
Not at all.
Then she was in Scream 2.
Yep.
And then she did this movie that you might have heard of right before this that she hated, but it got a lot of like critic applause of her performance. Simply Irresistible. Simply Irresistible.
No, I don't know that one.
Okay.
Anyone else in that one that I would know?
I didn't write anybody down, so maybe, but I don't know. So Gellar, being part of Buffy and being that's the main thing people knew her from at this time. She was like, hey, I need to differentiate myself from my Buffy character. So what'd she do?
She went brunette.
She went brunette. That was totally her choice.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm going to dye the hair.
Honestly, I think she's brilliant for
Yeah.
doing that. And I'm not going to say this about many people in this movie, but I think she kills it.
Yeah, she's
I
great.
think she is, it's so memorable, this performance. And it definitely, her performance for me aged well. It was just as like cutting and just as like conniving as I remember it being. And just being like, wow, this chick is twisted.
Okay, now let me ask you this question.
Okay, ask it.
Is she more attractive as a blonde or a brunette?
It depends on if you want the evil side. Like, are you into bad girls? Then
Yep.
you want the brunette. Or if you want the popular teen queen, then you want the blonde.
But would you say that always, though? The bad girls are always the brunettes?
Always.
Rizzo versus
Yes.
Sandy in
Yep,
Grease.
Always. Classic. It's a classic trope. Gentlemen prefer blondes.
Yeah, because they're nicer and they're the good girls.
They're the good girls.
Yep.
They're the nice, sweet girls.
So what do you say about yourself?
What do I say about myself?
I'd say you're half evil and half good.
I'm a mutt.
So she was 21 years old when this movie came out. And we talked about this during I Know What You Did Last Summer, but guess on how tall she is?
Oh, I think she's like 5'3" or 5'2".
Nope, she's taller than you.
Dang it, she's 5'4".
She's 5'4".
Oh, man.
Yep.
Just by half an inch. But that's good to know.
Yep. So I already mentioned this. The director did not want Ryan for Sebastian at first. He actually wanted this guy named Jonathan Rhys Meyers. You know this guy.
Do I?
Yeah, you know him
Jonathan
because
Rhys-Meyers.
he's a British actor.
Okay.
He
3 names.
is the main character in that Tudors TV show.
Oh.
Yeah, buzzed head.
Yeah, he's been in
Very
other things
serious
as well.
looks. Yeah, he is in the Vikings TV show that I watched too.
He can be pretty twisted. I think
He
he would have been an
can.
all right Sebastian.
Yeah. Yep. Every role that I've ever seen him do, he almost takes himself too seriously. Where like he almost loses charisma because he's so serious. You know what I mean?
Sure, I could see that.
But it'd be interesting. But he was searching for the studio to take on the project, and a friend said, "No, you've got to go with this Ryan Philippi guy. I'm telling you, he is the best." And so he did. Ryan was 25 at the time. How tall is Ryan?
How can he be 25 and he has no chest hair? Did you see that? Did you notice?
That exists on some people.
Yeah.
Where like they have just no chest fuzzies.
It wasn't even like it was shaved. It was like it had never even poked out of his little body.
But let me ask you this.
Such
Well,
a
for one thing,
baby.
you should see him now. He's like in his 40s, and he's way more ripped than he was at 25.
I bet he looks jacked now.
He looks
probably great.
crazy, like
Yeah.
super fit.
Sure.
Which gives you a lot of hope. You know, it's like, oh, my best days weren't when I was 25. It's
They're
when I was
not.
45.
They're not behind you.
That's
They're-
when I will be in my prime.
It's ahead of you. It's not behind you. It's ahead of you.
Speaking of behinds, what did you think of his?
Oh, we do see his
You
behind.
saw his butt.
It wasn't unappealing, I'll tell you that. I'm not like a big butt person, but, in the right moment, caught unawares, I was like, oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
Yep. And not a hair on it.
Yep, that's true.
Shaved,
also.
bicked clean.
Or maybe doesn't have any because he didn't have any anywhere
That's
else.
true. I usually give people a lot of shit about that, but this one I feel like could be natural.
I don't
that
think
he
he
literally
could help
doesn't
it.
have butt
He
hair.
probably wished he did, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Or it might be those translucent butt hairs that when the light hits them just right, they shine and sparkle, but otherwise you're never going to know they're there.
Little peach fuzz on your peach.
So the big problem they had was what to do about Annette. Annette is the Reese Witherspoon character.
Yeah.
The studio and the director got in a big fight. Studio wanted a famous 90s star at this time who was on a really popular TV show but had not hit the big screen yet.
Christina Applegate.
No, that's a good guess, though. TV show for teens. Late 90s. Or kind of think the early 2000s.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Nope. Think about the OC before the OC.
Oh, what was the OC? Oh, 90210.
No, too late, too early.
Okay. What was in between those two?
Dawson's Creek.
Oh, they wanted Katie Holmes?
They wanted Katie Holmes.
Oh.
The studio said Katie Holmes is perfect. She's sweet. She's America's Girl Next Door. She'll be perfect for this.
Yeah.
The director said she's not like, sounds terrible. She's not complex enough.
As an actress, she's not complex
Yeah, he
enough?
said she's too kind of basic.
Oh.
Yep, and especially at that time. He
Ouch.
says now he doesn't think that, but at the time he thought she was just too basic.
Well, and then you have the problem of two brunettes, and that
Sure.
just is very much not the visual that we're going for on the
he
poster.
But he didn't know that because SMG hadn't dyed her hair probably yet.
Well, that would have made more sense. If she would have stayed blonde, then
Yep.
then it could have worked, but I get it. Both two brunettes is too many in the cover.
Listen to the second choice. That took me a second to register. The second choice was Vanessa Shaw. Do you know Vanessa Shaw?
Vanessa Shaw.
You do know Vanessa Shaw.
Well,
Do
why
you
did
know
you
Vanessa
ask-
Shaw?
I asked
You
you.
do know Vanessa Shaw.
Who is she?
Who is she?
What?
What is she about?
What's she from?
She has been in one Summers Off movie and then one favorite Halloween movie.
Oh, wait.
Oh, Allison! Allison!
Oh, from Hocus Pocus?
Yep, the girl from Hocus Pocus.
Her name's Vanessa Shaw?
Yep, and what
She
other
doesn't look like Vanessa.
what movie did we do with her in it for Summers Off?
It wasn't Hocus Pocus?
Nope,
We didn't do
we've
Hocus
never done
Pocus?
Hocus Pocus.
Nope. Just kidding. What movie was she in?
You just want it?
Yeah.
Ladybugs. She was a girl.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
She was like
You see her in her sports bra and you're like,
15.
weird. This
Oh,
is
so
weird. What are we doing
not
here?
okay, not
Yep.
okay.
Go back and revisit that, but don't revisit the movie. So Vanessa Shaw and Katie Holmes were the two choices that they were wrestling with. Director wanted Vanessa Shaw. Studio wanted Katie Holmes. They were at an impasse.
And
Nobody knew what to
wins.
do. So what do? One night the director and Ryan Phillippe are hanging out, and he goes, Ryan, your girlfriend's an actress, isn't she? And he's like, yeah, she's really good, too. She had been in Pleasantville
Yep.
and Fear. Have you ever heard of the movie Fear with
Yep.
Mark Wahlberg? I've never seen it, but
Nope. Yeah.
apparently it's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And she was a hot commodity.
So they had already
Rising
been
star.
dating.
They were already
Oh,
together.
I didn't know if they were together or not
Yep.
yet, or if this is how they became.
There's a lot of
one.
people who think they met on this set and that they got together, but that's not true. I'll go into their dating history, too, so you can hear a little bit about how they developed.
Exciting.
But so they decided, like, hey, what about your girlfriend? And he's like, oh, she'd be perfect. We should totally do this. But she read the script,
Yeah.
and she was like, no, this character's shit. Like, there's no development. And she was a big deal. She was like a rising star. So she was like,
Sure.
I don't have to take this.
Yeah.
I want you to do it, Ryan, but I don't really want to be a part of it. And it took, like, the director getting down on his hands and knees and saying, please, I beg of you, it'll only be 15 of your days, and I'll let you have a hand in the script. And so she actually
no way.
changed parts of the script to try to make her character more powerful. Thoughts?
Interesting. Well, okay, I know I said that I wasn't going to say this a lot about many people in this movie, but Reese Witherspoon is the other person that for me is a standout in this film. And I say that because I think she's so grounded and she's so believable.
Can you honestly tell me that you feel nothing for me?
Yeah, I have feelings for you, Sebastian.
Then what's wrong? It's not like you have a husband, unless you're married to Jesus.
That's not fair.
Why can't we be together?
Do you really want to know why?
Yes, I want to know why.
It's because I don't trust myself with you.
I think she's perfectly cast in this. I think this is one of the reasons why I was like, oh yeah, remember Reese Witherspoon was a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't always remember that now, even though I think she's still obviously good in what she does, but sometimes I think she gets kind of like limited and pigeonholed a little bit into certain roles, similar to this role. But when she's cast right, she is so good.
She kills it.
She's so good.
She kills it.
Yeah.
She was only 23.
Wow.
Do you know how tall she is?
No.
Do you want to guess?
5'3".
She's shorter than you.
Thank God.
She's only 5'1".
Oh, that makes me feel better. She's almost always in heels, though, so she probably would be taller than me if we ever met.
So she was going to do the movie Election the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2 years, in 2001, that's when she does Legally Blonde, and she explodes.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
she is continuing the ascent, and I think this movie helps her with that ascent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely...
I think all three of them climb after this movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I don't know if all three of them continue to climb. What did Ryan do after this? Do you know?
I mean, he just got more and more movie gigs.
Yeah,
I
he's just a name that we know. But yeah, her ascension above everyone else's in this film. Like, she's obviously the superstar. I mean, she has a book club now that rivals Oprah's book club. Like, she's a big deal in that world. And she's a producer, a director. So yeah, she's kind of a boss botch. Big time.
Let's talk about your favorite character in the entire movie.
Who are you going to say?
Who am I going to say, Rach?
Are you going to say Selma Blair?
You know I
Oh
am.
my God.
Ugh, this sure doesn't taste like an iced tea.
It's from Long Island.
Rach, the whole time she was watching the movie, she goes, oh, what I would have given to play this role.
No.
Yes, she did.
That is not what I said.
So Selma Blair, in order to land this character,
Mm-hmm.
she was super annoying during the entire audition.
Yeah.
She just was like super saucy and just super kind of dumb,
Mm-hmm.
playing dumb throughout the whole thing, and that landed her the gig.
Mm-hmm.
She's the oldest out of all of our castmates, even though she played a 15-year-old. She is 26.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not true, because Sean Patrick Thomas, do you want to take a guess at how old he was?
He 27?
Older.
29?
29, ding, ding, ding.
Oh, so attractive.
Hey, well, this is a good... Hey, let's just get into it now. I was going to save this for later, but this is a perfect time. Ryan Phillippe versus Sean Patrick Thomas.
Sean Patrick Thomas.
I knew you were going to say that.
Easy style. How about you? What would you say?
Probably Ryan. I like his curly hair.
Or what about gals now?
Between who?
All three.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's the easiest thing in the world.
And then how big of a steep jump is it down to Reese Witherspoon and then Selma Blair? Because I know she's last.
She is. You're right. The order's correct. But, I mean, that was the gap between SMG and Reese.
Yeah, SMG is
very
a 10.
big.
Where's Reese?
SMG's not a 10. SMG is a 9.
Okay.
And Reese is a 7.
Oh, that's not as big of a jump as I thought.
Oh, okay.
That sounds right.
And Selma's like a low 7. They're close. Just cute. So Sean Patrick Thomas had been in Can't Hardly Wait right before this. That was his big
Yes.
breakout. But this is like his second big movie.
Yeah.
He's not going to do Save the Last Dance till 2001.
Oh, we have to wait that much longer for him to be back in high school.
And he will have been 31 then.
Wow. It's not too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late. Go back to high school.
What high school play? Like, let's say you got cast in a play or musical where you got to play a high schooler. Which one do you choose?
Which play do I choose?
Yeah, or musical.
I would want to do like a Thoroughly Modern Millie or something.
She's not in high school.
Oh, it has to be a high school age person?
Yeah, no,
Oh.
Yep. You play
Well,
Millie right now.
Could I don't know. I feel like I'm aging out of that a little bit.
she's like in her early 20s.
Well,
She's
that's
fine.
not where I am.
Yeah,
but
doesn't
thank you
matter.
for saying
Continue
that.
on. What high school
A
person
high
would you want to be?
school show? I don't know. I don't know that there's a lot of good high school. Well, maybe like Next to Normal, The Daughter.
Oh, okay. Yep,
That's
there you
one
go.
I've kind of aged out of,
Uh-huh.
sadly. So, yeah, Yeah, that'd probably that's a good one.
Sweet.
How about you?
Oh, I don't know.
You already got to go back and do Footloose when you were out of age.
That
so...
was a big one. I really
I know you
enjoyed
did.
that. And I got to play Romeo a couple times, so like I
Yeah.
got to check that off too.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as the younger roles,
Yeah, any
there's
more baby
not a
boy roles you
ton
wanna
that I'm
play?
like super jonesing for. Yeah, I feel okay.
You feel okay to move on to the next?
I
The next
do.
league.
I do feel fine about that.
Good. That's a good place to be at in life when you're like happy with where you're at and you're not trying to recreate old, memories of the past. You're
Sure.
just ready to be you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. Christine Baranski, she was the mom, who's also in Mamma Mia, the Selma
Oh
Blair's mom.
yeah, epic.
She wasn't going to take this. She really had no desire, and she wanted to like spend more time with her kids. But her kids convinced her because
Sean Pachter Thomas was going to be in it.
no, they didn't really know him yet. He wasn't a big deal. Save the Last Dance. Because they loved Buffy.
Oh,
They loved Buffy with their whole
yes.
heart, so they said, Mom, you've got to do it.
Mom, please. And she's like, okay.
We did have a couple other cameos as well. We had Joshua Jackson.
Yes, he plays a gay friend with some bleached blonde hair. Another Dawson's Creek cameo there. Very fun.
And we had Tara Reid.
Tara Reid. That's right. She's at the very beginning. She is Sebastian's therapist's daughter, who he hooks up with in a revenge sort of way.
Yeah.
I have a reputation to uphold.
Oh, but diddling the therapist's daughter's a challenge.
She was overcharging.
So she's got a great little cameo at the beginning. She must have been pretty big at that point, wasn't she?
American Pie would have come out right around this time.
Okay.
So
Or maybe right after
I think
this?
right after.
Yeah.
I think this was maybe before American Pie.
Okay.
So I don't think she was a big deal at all yet.
Okay.
And then, did you recognize who Court Bauer was?
No. So he was the guy, the football player?
Yep. No,
No.
not the football player. He's the guy that Sarah Michelle Gellar was dating beforehand.
no,
who
who is
falls
that?
asleep while
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing stuff. That is Jerry O'Connell. You know who that is?
Oh.
That's not him.
Oh.
That's his brother.
Oh.
I thought it was Jerry O'Connell. I was like,
When you said that,
oh my
it does
gosh,
kinda look
Jerry
like him.
O'Connell made it like this little tiny bit part role. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, he got hit. I don't know if he got it, but his brother Charlie, that was like one of the only things he ever did was that little bit part, and then that guy went on to be in The Bachelor,
No way.
the TV show.
As the Bachelor?
He was The Bachelor.
Lucky duck.
Oh, do you really want to do The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Do you want to compete or do you want to be The Bachelorette?
I want to be the Bachelorette. I
Gosh,
wanna
you're
be the
so
person
conceited. You have so much
competing
ego
over me.
just dripping off of you. How dare you think that you're cool enough to be
No,
the Bachelorette?
it's because I'm lazy. It's because I don't want to do all the work to try to convince somebody to be with me. I want to be the person who has to be convinced. That's lazy.
Kind of an interesting story. So on this Jerry O'Connell stuff.
Back to Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar met him on the set of Scream 2,
Okay.
and they started dating.
Oh.
After she had met Freddie Prinze on I Know What You Did Last
the
Summer.
love of her life.
Yep, but she didn't have a prince in her life yet, so she had just the court jester, Jerry O'Connell. And they were dating right around this time. And so I think that she got that Court Bauer role for his brother.
That's funny. That's very interesting.
Do you want to know about Reese and Ryan's relationship?
Yeah.
Should we do a little detour?
Let's get into that for a little bit.
Okay.
Set me up with some history.
Yeah, so imagine this.
Okay.
It's Reese's 21st birthday party, and she is wasted with her friends. They're giggling all night long, having the greatest time of their lives. And this guy walks in, 5'9", blonde curly hair, not a hair on his chest or buttocks. He comes strolling into the party, and she goes, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so brazen, so brave with all these drinks in me right now. And she walks up to him, and she goes, you must be my birthday present.
Whoa.
And he thought that was so cool that we're pretty sure they hooked up that night.
Oh my
and
god.
Bob's your uncle. They were together.
There it goes.
That was it.
History
Yep.
made.
And so they had been dating, I think, for a year when this movie came along. And then they got engaged like right after this movie. I want to say it's they got engaged shortly after this movie filmed, but then they got married 3 weeks after the movie opened.
Oh,
in
wow.
1999, same year that the movie came out.
Wow, great
And then,
timing.
listen to this, had their first kids 3 months after that. She was preggers before they got married. Scandal.
Whoa, crazy.
And then also, people thought she got pregnant like on the set, like and things like that. And I was like, no, she got pregnant after that.
Yeah.
But she was pregnant at the age of 22.
Yeah. I was going to say she's got they have young or old kids now, but I think they had kids when they were pretty young, and she's got maybe 2, I think.
Yep, she's got 2 with Ryan and then 1 with her new husband.
Okay, yeah. Her daughter looks so much like her. It's
really?
crazy.
And I think
her
their son looks
so
like
much
Ryan.
like him. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's like the thing where like you have like 2 dog breeds and they have babies, and then like half come out like the mom, half
Yeah,
come out
like
like the
Little
dad.
Shop of Horrors, Audrey and Seymour's.
Yep.
All the daughters.
That's
like
exactly what
Audrey.
happened.
Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's what everyone dreams of happening. Because the opposite's a little weird. Like I look more like my dad, and it's like a little bit weird to be told that, but I take
No,
it
you
in
don't.
stride.
No, you don't.
I look more like my dad than my
no,
mom.
quit saying that. You keep that. Shut your mouth. Keep that inside.
It's true.
They had their second kid in 2003, and then they split
Mm-hmm.
in 2007 after 8 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Do you have any? You're kind of like the pop culture icon. Do you know?
I can't
what's
remember
going on?
why, but if I was just gonna like gesticulate and just guess,
Yeah.
I would say, Reese, her career kind of took off, and I'm not gonna put it past Ryan to not get in his head about it, but I would imagine that that's really challenging for actors who marry actors.
Mm-hmm.
When someone takes off and does well, it's really hard on the other person, even if you're happy for them. And so I'm going to guess that maybe that played a factor. And then she was busy, so she was gone, or he was maybe gone too with projects, and you just don't see each other a ton.
That's really interesting. There was a moment, I think they presented an Oscar, and they were about to read it, and then Ryan made like this comment that kind of went viral, where he turned to her, and he said, "You can read the name since you make more money than I do." And it's one of those things that like reflected on that it was like, that was like a point of contention a little bit. So you're kind of onto something. The rumor was that he cheated on her.
Mm-hmm.
He says he never cheated on her. He says that he just started a relationship like right after they broke up because he was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And he like was trying to pick up the pieces through a relationship. So he started dating this Abby Cornish girl who was an actress. But they both say the reason they got a divorce was because they were just so damn young when they got together.
Yeah,
had
that
kids
makes a
at such
lot
a
of
young
sense.
age. And they said that it was one of those things that they could have probably done, but the fact that they were both in Hollywood and so young, that was like the death knell.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, but it was more the youth than it was the Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that is really young to get married and have kids. You think about like you're a kid yourself. Like, I don't know. I can only speak about my 30s because that's all I know. That's all the further I've gotten in this world. But I just know I'm not who I am and who I was in my 20s.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe I won't be who this person is in my 40s either. But I just think like that's a really hard time to make those big life choices.
You were so cool in your 20s. Oh my gosh. So hot, so cool, so fun. Always game for everything. You were wild.
So, wait, are you saying that, like, I'm not that anymore? Like, I'm not fun anymore?
So one of the other issues that the two had was Reese Witherspoon was really bright and bubbly, and Ryan was kind of like a dark and brooding person.
Oh, very cool.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, I'm more dark and brooding.
No, I'm the
You're-
dark and brooding.
No, you're bubbly.
No, I'm not.
You are.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You wish. You wish.
Yeah, I wish. Psh, whatever. Did you know he dated Amanda Seyfried?
Nope.
Yeah, they were together for like almost a year.
Huh.
And the reason they broke up,
Because of the age?
no, he had dated somebody else before her, and I think he knocked that girl up like right before him and Amanda got together. And then
Oh.
like 7 months later, it was like, hey, you've got a baby. And then she was like, oh, this is like a little too much for me.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so. That's fair. I think that's it. I have no judgment for her on that. Like, yeah, I'm going to pass. I think.
Yeah, well, and there's the age gap too. I think they were like 8 or 10 years apart.
Yuppers.
So we said that this script took 12 days in order to devise.
Well, and who knows how long Dangerous Liaisons took.
Yeah.
So I think
If
I think we're shortening it a bit.
Yeah, if you add that and then you add Dangerous Liaisons, the English adaptation altogether, it really probably was a long
Years,
process.
a decade in the making, at least.
How long do you think it took to film?
Well, Reese only had to be there for 15 days, and she was in like a third of it, maybe not even. I would say let's go for 3 months.
Close. It took 5 months.
5 months?
Oh, wait. No, sorry. I don't know why I said that. It took 6 weeks. Way up. I saw the number 5 and later on. That's not what I wanted.
6 weeks?
6 weeks to film this thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a paycheck.
I know.
I would love to like do something like that for 6 weeks.
Well, if you're getting paid like a set amount, a lot of these actors probably were getting day rates, so that's not as good.
That's all right.
Yeah, but
6
you want it
weeks
to go
of work
longer.
would
You're
be
like,
so
sweet,
fun.
more.
Yeah, that's true.
So the interior shots, those were all Los Angeles on studio stages. The exteriors were all New York City.
Is it New York? Because
Yeah.
it looked a lot like New York.
So they wanted, and I mentioned this before, this was like the concept. They wanted this movie to be like a dark high school movie.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it to be light and poppy. Did they accomplish their task?
I think the themes that are in this
Yeah.
are way darker than any
I
other
should
teen
explain.
movie.
They wanted it like picture-wise. They wanted it
like
to
the
seem
filming part?
dark and not light and bubbly.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, some of the interior shots, maybe.
Yeah, it's more the subject matter is so dark because they, like I said, they sound like they're like mid-20-year-olds talking about these things, and you're like, oh, you guys are only 17, like you're
Yeah.
so jaded and corrupt already. And the interiors are also opulent too. Like you feel like you're at Versailles a little bit, like in their apartments.
For sure. Yep.
This kind of otherworldly money. Even like his aunt who lives on this like random like family mansion out in the
Oh, it's
country. It's
huge.
like, what is
It's
this? Like
crazy.
Downton Abbey style like
Estates,
like
yeah.
who? Yeah. What do their parents do? What does everybody do? Fascinating.
And I think we're supposed to also assume they're just like old money.
Yeah,
like
they
their-
have to be. If
their
that home
parents-
is in their family.
Their parents probably don't do anything. They just like hang out and spend a lot of money and make a lot of money doing nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where they all are. They're all old money.
Yeah, a lot of just waste.
Yep.
A lot of waste.
For sure.
So I guess the answer is kinda not.
Okay. I think it's still too colorful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They tried to do a lot with costumes. I don't know if you noticed this, where like Ryan would wear dark colors.
I mean, Ryan's in black the whole time. He's got like this trench coat. He looks
Oh my
like
gosh.
he's in the Matrix.
He looks so goofy. This black trench coat is awful.
Yeah, he just walks around with it in his little shades everywhere and
Yeah.
his like black turtleneck. It's just like gonna go have a cappuccino at Starbucks.
But then they would put Reese in like blues and whites.
Yeah, she's in
and-
pastels
Yep.
and like purity, and so yeah, definitely pick up on that. Sarah Michelle Gellar's also very like, it's like lingerie, but it's also very dark colors. It's like blacks and tans.
Did you notice anything with Selma Blair?
She looks like she's a child in, it's like she's an adult in children's clothes.
Yeah, but then there is something she wears when she's about to sneak out. That was like
a red hoodie.
Yep.
Yeah, what
like
about it?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh,
That's what the costume designer was going for.
Is that what
Yep.
they're going
It's like
for?
she's going to see the big bad wolf.
Oh my gosh, that's totally a costume
I am
designer
for
moment
sure.
where they're just like patting themselves on
Yep.
the back, like,
How
I'm
cool is that?
So genius.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's gonna get it.
Yep. Yep. That's a total designer thing. Very cool,
I mean,
guys.
good for
Very
you.
cool.
I didn't get it, but good for you.
There's a moment in this movie
Mhm.
when there's a slap. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yes. Is it scripted?
Well, we'll talk about it.
okay.
What is this moment?
Yeah, so the moment is basically Reese and Ryan, I don't know their characters' names, Annette and Sebastian have had sex, and now he is basically being I don't know, he kind of has like a conscious moment where he thinks like, okay, I don't want to ruin this girl anymore. Like I actually care about her. I love her. And her getting like tied to me is really bad. This is never going to work out anyways. Like I'm not good enough for her essentially. So he goes to essentially like break up with her and like tell her that she meant nothing. And he tells her like, you were just a bet. You were just a conquest.
Oh, I love that. You meant nothing to me. You were only a conquest. He's like crying at the same time.
You know nothing. You don't even know me. The fact of the matter is, there is someone I love. You don't even compare to her.
I don't believe you.
I don't know how to make this any clearer to you. You mean nothing to me. You were just a conquest.
And so then she gets mad at him and she says, you're lying. Like, what's wrong with you? And then she slaps him.
Yep.
This is a very good scene, I think.
That's one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie.
It's a very well acted scene between the two of them. Because Ryan finally drops like the facade. And he has a facade the whole time, but that's his character too. Like he kind of comes in and out of like this like kind of fake nice at times and then like back to himself. So I don't know. It's interesting. But like that's like the part where it's like, oh, truth, finally. Like your character, like I can understand like what your character is like going through, and it's not like, you know, conniving.
Even though he's saying the opposite of what he wants.
Yes, but
it's the most vulnerable and truthful thing that we see in the entire movie.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. So that slap that happened was totally improv.
Yeah.
I usually hate that stuff.
Yeah.
I will say the fact that they were dating and there was a lot of trust probably built up amongst them, that it felt like something that maybe was a available choice to them compared to like a stranger or somebody you didn't know. But yeah, that was a totally impulse-driven slap. And what Ryan was doing, he wasn't doing the lines. He was just saying really mean things to Reese.
Really?
In that scene to try, because it was just a reaction shot from her. So they didn't have him say the lines. They just said, Ryan, say really mean things to her.
Oh.
And so he did. And
that
then
doesn't sound like good intimacy direction.
I know. And then she came over and she slapped him. And then he said that scene was one of the most emotionally taxing scenes of his entire life.
Sure.
After he got done delivering it, he went outside and he vomited.
Oh, wow.
He puked all over.
Wow.
Yeah. Physically made him regurgitate because it was so emotional.
I mean, it was a good scene. I don't know if it's vomit worthy, but it was a good scene. I'll give them that for sure. But I don't know about vomit worthy.
So you had already kind of alluded to this, but the sex scene between these two.
Yeah. Between Annette and Sebastian.
Yep. So Annette and Sebastian, they finally get together. Oh, they have the sweetest moment in the train depot. Can we talk about that for a second? When she's coming up the escalator.
Oh,
and he's at the top of the...
It's iconic.
Iconic,
the
so
scenery
romantic.
is so iconic.
She's standing upside of the escalator, and what does she say to him? She goes...
What did she say to him?
I'm impressed. And then he says back, well, I'm in love.
I'm impressed.
Well, I'm in love.
Ah! Yes! Yes, queen!
All while Counting Crows Colorblind is playing underneath of it.
You can just imagine.
I am color blind.
We're going to talk about that here in a second.
Oh, are we?
So, even though the two leads were dating, that sex scene, a lot of people thought that they really had sex.
Why?
Because they were dating. Like, people who
because
watched
you
the movie
can.
were like, wow, I heard they really did it. And you got to remember, this was around the time we had the Monsters Ball stuff and the original Sin and like around the millennium
people
time.
Who really were having
Everybody
sex
was like,
on
let's
camera.
really start effing on camera. How cool is that?
So cool for so many reasons.
So even though they were dating, the sex scene was actually really awkward. They did not have sex.
Okay.
They weren't even naked. Their bottoms were covered, and I even think Reese had some stuff on top that was covered. They talked about it. They decided no nudity. Besides, Ryan was going to show his tuchus in that one scene. He's like, I don't even want to see my tuchus in this scene though. So they kind of set the stipulations. They kicked everybody off set. So they kind of did intimacy.
Yeah.
and broke it down just with like a couple people.
Yeah.
And they did that scene and decided exactly what everybody was going to see. The actors had all the power.
I mean, it's a very beautiful love scene. I thought that was really well filmed because
Yeah.
it fits the tone with it too, and the lighting too. It's very bright. It's very sunny. It just I think is such a difference or like a juxtaposition on other parts of the film. When we get into like that sexual energy, usually gets a bit darker.
Yeah,
Right?
yep.
But this is like light and bright and really lovely.
Yep. And the way their bodies are pressed together is so romantic.
So romantic.
Speaking of romance, Rach already alluded to the song that's playing. Colorblind is playing, but that wasn't the original intention. It was supposed to be. So the director has this whole thing where he writes the script to music, and then he can't get it out of his head. He's like, this is how it has to be.
Got it. I know the type.
What is that supposed to be?
I know the type.
So his inflexibility meant that he really wanted this Smashing Pumpkins song that he had in his head. And he even says, like, if you turn the volume down and you put up this song, that you can tell
work even better?
it's to the Smashing Pumpkins song. But they were like, shoot, what are we going to do? The Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corbin, he came in, he saw the movie, he watched it, and he was like, nope.
Oh.
I don't want my song in that movie.
Oh, no.
And so he pulled his song out. And so they're like, shit, what are we supposed to do?
Oh, no.
So they're trying to figure
I didn't know
out.
we could do that.
They're trying to figure out, like, oh, man, how are we going to replace
We need
this?
big song.
And the Counting Crows, that the guys who do?
Sure.
Yeah, yep. Counting Crows was randomly around, and they, I don't know how this works. There must be something when there's not a song written for different parts of movies that, like, you can just check in with the studio, and the studio's like, yeah, we've got this scene, and so you can watch something and see if it inspires you.
Oh,
And this
okay.
guy from Counting Crows was randomly like, oh, I saw the scene, and I'm inspired to write this song. I'll have it done in 24 hours.
What?
And the director was like, really? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then they went to his house after he had composed it, and he played it to it happening on screen, and he was like, that's amazing.
Wow.
So not Bittersweet Symphony, Colorblind became the song. Blind.
I sang that song in jazz choir, a cappella.
Yeah.
My part sounded a lot like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do, do, do. Here, you sing it, and I'll harmonize with
Okay.
you.
I am covered in something.
Do, do,
Coffee
do,
black and uptight.
pour me up. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And then let's talk about Bittersweet Symphony.
Oh, love that
Yeah,
song.
okay.
This soundtrack in general is
Killer.
very good. It's so
Absolutely
good.
killer.
The beginning coming in with some
Yep.
placebo and then ending
Yep,
with
every you and
Bittersweet.
every me. I used to sing that song all the time. Every you and every me, every you.
I figured you could do a really good placebo
Something
impression,
bother.
and I was not unimpressed.
So, Bittersweet Symphony, they almost didn't get the rights to that one
Oh
too.
my gosh,
because
why?
the band was cool with it,
Yeah.
but it's a cover actually from I think a Rolling Stones song.
Oh, you're kidding.
And so they were like, shoot, the Rolling Stones own this? And so then they were talking to the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones were like, you can have it for a lot of money. And the
Yes.
studio was like, please, can we just find a different song? And the director was like, I can't not think of that song. We have to have it.
It's just panicking.
And so the studio was like, okay, we'll pay more money than we did any of our actors to the Rolling Stones for that one song.
Amazing. And the right choice.
Because how cool is that moment?
It's just the whole soundtrack. It's so good. It's so iconic. I remembered it being that way, but I was not disappointed. The music aged so well for me.
Oh, I can't find. I've been looking for it since I was in high school. I cannot find the instrumental tracks that happen throughout this movie. There's this really beautiful doo 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 doo, It's like this really pretty instrumental that plays at all my favorite moments. Happens during the picnic scene when he kisses her.
Okay.
And then they're going to break up. Happens when she's ready to have sex with him and she unbuttons her shirt. And then he goes, I can't do this. Get it together, you pussy.
Get it together, you pussy.
It happens during all my favorite moments.
Your favorite moment.
Oh my gosh.
Ty.
And I can't find it. Can't find it.
I'm gathering that this movie aged really well for you. Did this movie age really well for you, Ty? Because I can't say that it aged really well for me.
This movie has many problems.
Yeah.
Many problems. But this movie still tugs at my youth heart.
I know. I felt the same way. I was like,
Listen,
oops.
we'll
Or
get
do we
into
have
it a little
section?
bit later.
Okay, I
I've
just want
got
to
a
make sure we
section.
address it.
I've got a section called Problematic Moes.
Very good.
We will get there.
Moe's is a problem.
We will get there. But you know one person who did not have any problems with this movie?
Who?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh,
She
yeah.
freaking loved this movie. She said it
Yeah,
was one of
as
the
she
best
should.
movies she's ever done. She loved everything about
I
it.
can't disagree with her.
There's only one moment that she did not like
Oh, okay.
doing in this movie. And you would probably never guess what it is.
Okay. Are you going to try to make me guess what
No,
it is?
you don't have to guess.
Okay, tell me.
It has to do with the cocaine.
Just her having to do
She
cocaine?
has to snort cocaine
and putting
out of
stuff
her.
up her nose?
Yeah, so she's got cocaine hidden in her cross,
Mhm.
and that she wears throughout the movie. And she, I just turn to God, and He guides me.
Helps me through it.
So she has major allergies,
Oh, yeah.
and what they used for the cocaine was they actually took chamomile, like the stuff you put in tea to make you sleepy,
Yeah.
and they crushed it up into white powder because that's okay and safe to do.
Yeah, but
but
she
when
still
you
had
do
to
that,
do
when you have
that.
allergies and she's allergic to grasses and and stuff like that.
They couldn't have picked a non-grass.
Well, and I don't think she knew what it was going to be. They just told her it's a safe thing to snort
Sure.
up your nose. But when she did, she was like, holy shit. Like, my
Oh,
whole sinuses
no.
are all clogging up. Like, this is brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So
That would've been
besides
bad.
that, everything else that she had to do in this movie, and she had to do a lot of, like,
Yeah.
physical things.
She's
She had no problem with it and thought it was awesome.
Yeah. She's wonderful in this. Like, I don't have, like, a lot of, like, depth for her in different, like, films. Like, her filmography for me is pretty limited, and it's for, like, a snapshot in time around this time. But it's one of my favorite things that she's in.
Yeah.
It really solidifies her. She just is commanding of, she's very powerful in it, too. But just, like, the scenes, when she's in a scene, she commands it out of everybody.
Do you wonder why she didn't get, like, Oscar meaty roles? Like an Emma,
after this?
Emma Stone kind of roles that she gets now. Like, why wouldn't Sarah Michelle Gellar get those kinds of roles back in the day?
Yeah,
She
I
was
don't
so
know.
powerful. She, like you said, she's powerful.
She's so powerful.
But
She doesn't
I-
have the humor, though. Like, she's not funny.
Have you seen Scooby Doo?
No, I haven't actually.
You haven't seen
I
Scooby-Doo?
haven't seen her in Scooby Doo.
Oh, you've never seen 2 then either.
Nope.
Scooby Doo 2.
That would be an assumption.
Okay. Wow.
Should we put that on the list?
No, definitely not. You want to talk about the kiss?
Ooh, the lady kiss.
The infamous
The
lady
infamous-
kiss. Break it down for us, Rach.
So, yeah, we've got, again, our powerhouse. Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to teach Selma Blair how to kiss. Because Selma Blair's never kissed before. She's never been to first base before.
Yep.
Per her words.
I haven't even been to, like, first base before.
Oh, God. Can we just pause for a second about Selma Blair? I don't know if we're ever going to talk about it again, but
Rude.
so unrooted in reality. Like, she's in her own movie. And it's not that, but I thought she was funny at times, obviously. Like, she's got the best quotes, like Martin Luther King. He's my favorite.
Secret society.
Yeah, I just like, what movie is she in?
Dr. King is my favorite.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, she teaches her how to kiss, and so this takes place out on a picnic, probably in Central Park, and they kiss and they practice with tongue, and it's French kiss, and it's a very iconic scene watched by frat boys across the world every year.
Yep. And did you notice something that happens during that kiss?
There's a bead of spit between their lips. Is that where you're getting at?
The spittle that connects them.
Spit lip.
And after that happened, that scene, by the way, was filmed the very last day of filming.
Oh, really?
And that bead of spit hung between them, and they ended up doing more takes.
Sure.
And the director was immediately like, "Oh, we got to reset. There's a bead of spit that captured between you guys. We can't have that." And the cinematographer said, "Absolutely not. That was beautiful."
That was the most erotic thing I've ever seen, and it's going in this movie. If you know anything about anything, you will keep it in this movie.
And they did.
And people will be talking about it for decades to come.
Yep. And here we are, sitting here talking about the spittle between their lips.
Spit lip.
It was magic.
Said every boy ever.
You know what's interesting? Okay, I've got a critique of their kiss, though. If I was intimacy director, I would have questions.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, so Sarah Michelle Gellar, in your instructions in the script, it says, I'm going to put my tongue in your mouth, and you're going to massage my tongue with yours.
Let's try it again. Only this time, I'm going to stick my tongue in your mouth. And when I do that, I want you to massage my tongue with yours. And that's what first base is. Not bad.
That was cool.
But when they kiss, Selma Blair does the
She
putting the
leads
tongue
it.
in the mouth.
If you look, she is leading the kiss, which is not in the script.
Nope. It's
I
Sarah
saw
Michelle
that as
Gellar
well.
is doing the massaging of the tongue in her mouth. They flipped the roles. And they needed an intimacy director to say, like, hey,
Selma, I see too much of your tongue.
yep,
Less
Selma,
of your tongue.
keep it in. SMG, I need to see your tongue
More
travel
tongue for
into
you.
your mouth. Keep the
Less
spittle.
tongue, more tongue.
No, we lost the spittle now.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. Selma, I know you know how to do the spittle. Get the spittle going. And
It is very
It's
complicated. When you break it down, it's
Yep.
it's amazing that lightning ever strikes once.
Sure.
Or twice in
Yeah.
this case.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is the job of an intimacy director and coordinator.
That is the job.
There you go.
The heavy
That's
burden.
what I've been doing on my weekends,
Watching gals kiss.
but making it specific.
Making it specific.
That scene is banned in certain countries
Oh.
today.
Today?
It's like
Still?
that's not old news. That's now news.
Oh. What are these countries? Do you know?
And I don't. I didn't find out that much detail.
But we just know that there's parts of the world that don't get to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe that because there are parts of the world that are pretty outdated. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a very spicy scene.
There was supposed to be a different ending.
Oh.
Do you want to build your own ending?
Is it an ending where he does not die?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well,
What happens in your alternative ending?
I like it. I like him dying.
Oh, you do? Do you?
Yeah.
What do you like about him dying?
I don't know, because I think she can probably do better. I think he is kind of a piece of junk. People don't change that fast, although there's
Well,
love.
that brings a good question. How many days takes place
3
in this movie?
days. 3 days. It's like freaking Romeo and Juliet, and they're already I'm like, what is it that you love about him?
Okay.
What?
I have the sneaking
What?
suspicion that maybe this takes place in over a month, like 6 weeks.
No, it doesn't. You know it doesn't, because she's staying at the aunt's house for like 2 weeks, and then she leaves early.
Yeah.
They say that. They say it very clearly before
Well,
school starts.
that was a mistake.
It's less than a
They
month.
needed it-
Less than a month for sure.
They needed it to be more like it's the summer, like the whole summer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of crazy stuff can happen in the summer.
Anything's possible in the summer.
Haven't you seen Grease?
Yeah, summer lovin'.
So, but I also thought like, dude, I think it's only 3 days. We know that she didn't bring a lot of clothes because she wears the same clothes 2 days in a row. Reese
That was
Witherspoon
maybe
does.
a whoopsie-doo on the editing department. Probably needed another outfit.
We see Reese with tight braids and pigtails.
Yep.
And we see
Super
her
cute.
in this like kind of blue top. And then a night goes by where Sebastian's teaching Selma Blair how to have orgasms. And then the next morning, Reese is back into the same outfit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what happened here?
That's actually not. Yeah, I have a problem with the timeline because how fast it happens. It just watching it now as an adult, because I did watch it with like a critical eye this time. That never bothered me before, but now watching it, it's like, come on, like, what is it that you like about this guy? What one thing do you like about him?
Do you think it's only 1 day?
No,
Or
I don't
3
think it's
days,
one
I
day.
mean, sorry.
I think it's like a week. I think it's not much.
The first day he meets her, that night, there's the swimming.
She gives up all
Do
of
they
her
go-
virtue and her morals to this guy in a week.
I don't think he sees
Maybe
her on
2
day
weeks.
2. I think he sees her on day 3, but then they go to the nursing home.
They go to the nursing home like one time, and she's like, I will give him my virginity. What?
No, she didn't have sex with him that night because
I know, but she did like that 2 days later.
Day 4.
Okay.
I think it was day 4 that she was going to, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And then she ends up on day 5.
It's too fast. It's
way
too
too
fast
fast.
for the development of these characters. They're just put in an impossible situation to make it work that fast.
Yep.
We needed some relaxing of the timeline.
Mm-hmm. They filmed a different ending. And in this ending, Sebastian still fights Ronald.
Yeah.
Sean Patrick Thomas and Ryan still getting in the fight.
Yep.
And then he stops fighting him when he sees Annette across the street.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he just says time out or what happens, but he's like, I'm going to stop fighting Ron. And then he sees her, and he's like, oh, it's Annette. And he starts crossing the street. Rather than he saves her life by pushing her out of the way of a car, instead he's like, oh, Annette's over there. I'm going to walk towards her. Walks out in the street, then gets hit by the car.
Oh, I like that.
Do you like that better?
I like it just as much.
Oh, okay. You just wanted to see him get hit by a car.
I think he needs to die. I think him getting hit by a car is essential. The circumstances of him, like, him saving, like, her life, it's like, well, whatever. But, like, him, like, walking to her, like, yeah, that's really tragic.
Yeah.
The saving the life thing, it's a little cheesy, right? Like,
Sure.
someone in the street, I'm going to pick you up and throw you out of the way, but I'm going to stand there. Like, I just don't. Maybe that happens, but the physics of it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, why can't you both just escape the car? Why do you throw someone out of the way and you stay there and get hit?
And I don't think those cars, that speed limit's probably only 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're not going that fast.
I don't think there's any chance he dies from it.
Well, he certainly did.
I know.
Or do you think he didn't die?
I think he doesn't die. I think
and that's why there's a Cruel Intentions too.
He's hidden away out in like the desert, and that's where she's driving at the end of the movie.
To go see
They
him.
finally duped his sister.
Yeah.
They're like, you get the ultimate F you. And now she's got his journal. She's like, by the way, Sebastian, I grabbed your journal. I'm on my way. And then she's driving out to the desert to be with him.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Do you know? Oh, no, I'm going to save it. We're going to talk about sequels and stuff. This whole thing released March 5th, 1999, just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
Very good. Very good.
And the movie cost $11 million to make.
Okay.
It made $38 million domestic and $76 million total.
Wow.
So it was a hit.
I would call that a hit.
Yep.
You and I saw it, so it must have been a hit.
It made all its money back on opening weekend, made $13 million on opening weekend.
Great.
Man, we would have so been in the theaters for this. By the way, they had like special things up in theaters that said, if you are under 17, you are not allowed into rated R movies, especially Cruel Intentions. There's like some signs from movie theaters that like people have pictures of online.
Really?
That's kind of fun. It says, especially Cruel Intentions.
Wouldn't you be like all the more, don't you think that's brilliant?
Yeah,
because you're like, wait, what?
I gotta get in there.
I'm getting in there right now. It's about 17-year-olds. I gotta see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Brilliant. That was brilliant.
So it released at number 2 at the box office behind Analyze This. Do you know that movie?
Yeah, it's
Billy
got
Crystal
as a therapist
Yep.
to a mob guy.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it. You really do remember that movie. I don't remember anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was ahead of 8mm with Nick Cage.
Mm-mm.
That movie's like weird. I don't know. That's not
Say
very
no more.
good. Yeah. The next week it dropped to number 3 because a sequel to the movie Carrie came out.
Oh, jeez.
And it stole its spot. Bunch of bullshit. Listen to these tags. Deliciously evil, wickedly sexy. What more could you ask?
Is that one tag?
That's one tag.
Oh, that's just one.
In the game of seduction, there's only one rule. Never fall in love.
Yeah, that's the one.
What you can't have, you can't resist.
Mm-hmm.
They're old enough to know better and too young to care.
That just sounds silly. That could be any teen movie coming of age. It isn't really very specific. Yeah, very spicy. Number 2 for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score? You want to take a guess?
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes score. Well, we know it didn't win the Oscar.
Yeah, we do know it wasn't even up for the Oscar.
And it wasn't nominated
Shockingly
for anything.
snubbed.
Even though I think there are some good performances, but, they don't really do that with teen movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the source material is so good, so I feel like it's at least fresh. I would say in the 60s.
54%.
Okay.
It's rotten.
Yeah.
But the audience score is
100%.
nope. So
Spit are we love the spit.
So
More
close.
spit.
80%.
Yeah.
Killing it with the audience.
That feels right.
Here's the consensus. This darkly comic drama and its attractive young cast are easy on the eyes, but uneven performances and an uninspired script conspire to foil cruel intentions. Ebert says it's smart and ruthless. 3 out of 4 stars.
Ruthless. I love it.
And then here's what the Orlando Sentinel says.
Oh.
Cruel Intentions is Les Liaisons Dangereuses as performed by Teletubbies. I don't even get it. I don't
Like
even
they're
understand it.
babies?
I guess so. And then here's what the Houston Chronicle says. You sometimes have to giggle at this movie the way you do when you catch 4-year-olds playing dress up in front of mom's closet.
Ouch. Ouch.
It won an award, Rach.
Teen Choice? Best Kiss.
MTV Movie Awards.
Best Kiss.
Best Kiss.
Yeah, dude. And they had to recreate it on the stage, I bet.
Oh, no, because Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams were the first ones to do that
Oh, is
in
that
The
true?
Notebook in 04. Yeah,
Never mind. Is that my fact?
I think you told me that. Let's talk about the sequels.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Cruel Intentions 2. Yo boy has seen it.
Do you own it?
No, absolutely not. That's the most ludicrous question I've ever heard in my life.
You got the first one on VHS?
Yes, because that one's good. This one is trash.
Wow.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I could see that.
Amy Adams is in it. I thought she was the Selma Blair character. That's how little I remembered from it.
Yeah.
No, she actually plays Catherine. She's Sarah Michelle Gellar's part.
Okay.
So it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So she is trying to manipulate and like bring Sebastian to the dark side in the movie. That's the whole plot.
Okay.
And
He's like some bright little
their
sunny
parents their parents just got married, I think.
boy. Okay.
And so now they're like they have to hang out.
Okay.
And she's of course like crazy and
Yeah.
conniving, and he's just this innocent guy and
This
he's trying to
little
figure it out.
sweet baby
So the whole
boy.
thing is about like him getting corrupted. Only the actor is awful. I think Amy Adams is terrible. It's one of her worst performances I've ever seen ever. And the Selma Blair character is, you thought Selma Blair was annoying?
I did. And I do.
Oh, dude, you haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
I sent you a scene. Tell the audience about the scene.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you can.
So, yeah.
This is After Dark. It's a Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah, so Ty sends me this scene today, and I watch it of Cruel Intentions 2. And
It's the most iconic scene in the whole movie.
is it? Okay, so I'll describe it then. So we've got Amy Adams, and the other girl. I don't know who she is,
Yeah,
but
it was some random-
basically they're gonna go riding horses, and it's a Cruel Intention. So as one can imagine, it's gonna get a little sexy.
And the butler's there too.
Yeah.
Makes it extra weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. So basically, she's just like, Amy Adams is like just coaching this gal who's on top of this horse, just saying like, "Yep, back and forth, up and down," like explaining to her like how she's supposed to like ride the horse. And essentially, the gal on top of the horse climaxes, and she falls off the horse while she climaxes, which is very common, I'm told.
Yeah.
From riding
I
horses.
think so.
I think most
Yeah.
people, that's how it happens.
I believe her line of dialogue they wrote for her after this moment was riding horses is fun.
Yep.
It's like, oh
I
my
just watched
gosh.
it about 10 minutes ago. Yep, that's what it was. I didn't see why people like riding horses. Yeah, it was really good.
It's a complete waste of a movie, a waste of your time, and a waste of everybody's money. So it was supposed to be a TV show. They were making the show, and I don't remember what their academy they go to is. Like, we'll just say it's Manchester Academy.
Yeah,
They're
rich kids on the east side.
Yeah. And so that was the whole concept, is like this kind of prequel thing with these characters around, but it's
Okay.
also like this episodic
Sure.
How do these kids get along at the academy kind of thing? Let's watch those rich
kind
assholes.
of like a early Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And Gossip Girl, by the way, stole a lot of their ideas from this.
Really?
I've never seen Gossip Girl, so I don't know
never
how
either.
dark it gets, but that was a
Maybe.
thing where they're like, Gossip Girl was directly influenced by this movie.
No way.
By Cruel Intentions, too.
Well, oh, now I want to see it.
Did you know there's a third Cruel Intentions?
No.
Yep.
They loved it so much.
So,
is everyone back?
no, it's Catherine's cousin. Oh, I looked up the plot. I can give you a little bit of the rundown of the plot. Catherine's cousin is in love with a prince from another country. We'll just say he's Arabian. I don't know. Arabic. So she's in love with this Saudi prince, and these boys conspire to break them up. And then they all start conspiring with each other as like a trio, trying to manipulate the other ones. And then they all end up pretty much like raping each other. And then some of them get sent to jail.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's super dark, super
Whoa.
weird. All the reviews I read were like, this was unnecessary and was like a pox on this Cruel Intentions series. Like, this is truly terrible stuff.
Wow. Maybe they were just like, yep, see, consequences happen for your actions. And they were trying to like do right by, its audiences who maybe watch Cruel Intentions 1 and think like, ooh, should have been some consequences for some of these kids. So maybe they just tried to overcorrect and then it didn't work.
But I like how their tie-in is like, that's Catherine's cousin. That's Sarah Michelle Gellar's cousin.
Well, yeah,
in the
obviously
movie.
we've like done all we could with that character. There's nothing else to do. We can't do a sequel. We already did a prequel.
So in 2016, they decided we're going to make a TV show.
No.
And we're going
They
to have...
did?
Yep. Sarah Michelle Gellar's character in the TV show as a mom character now.
What?
And she was in the pilot in
Yeah.
2016.
Uh-huh.
It was pitched to NBC. They filmed the actual pilot.
NBC was gonna have
NBC
was gonna have Cruel Intentions, the
you
TV
say that.
show.
No, I think NBC was going to pick it up and put it on their affiliate USA, because that feels like that's where that would belong.
Yeah, and yet
With like
still.
suits and with sure.
I
That
guess.
La Femme Fatale was like a show on there.
I was just saying,
They're
if
like
you want to
into
do
sexual
anything
stuff on
right with
USA.
Cruel Intentions now, if you want to do anything right, you have to go to like a Netflix or an HBO.
Well, this was
version of it.
2016 though.
I know. I'm just saying, like now, like people listening to this who have money and ideas, like you have to go full throttle, unrated all the way up.
Sure.
You cannot, if you want to have the same shock and awe, you have to up the ante, and we're just not easily shocked anymore.
Yeah.
So USA
would
is
that
not
even-
going to be enough.
That
no.
would look like a less depressing
Euphoria.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get Euphoria vibes a little bit watching this.
Yeah.
Having watched just a little bit of Euphoria and having the reaction that I do to it, like, oh gosh, it would just suck to be a child now.
Doesn't my mom watch Euphoria?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, your mom's with it. She knows all the good shows.
That's awesome. So the NBC said no thanks after seeing the pilot. They're like, we're not interested.
After seeing the horse scene on two, they were like, well, let's think about this. Let's just think about this.
But then listen to this. I don't think it was the creator. The creator actually wants to do a play version, but there's a group that got a hold of the rights and made a jukebox musical. It's called Cruel Intentions, the 90s musical, and it's all of the songs from the movie.
Oh, how'd they get that?
Don't know.
Are they sure they got the Rolling Stones permission
I
to
don't
use
know, man.
that? Because it
All
sounds
I
like
know-
a pretty penny.
It says it's the jukebox musical, and I looked up what songs are in this, and literally all the songs I could think of that were from the movie were in the discography for the musical.
Very interesting.
Yep. It came out in 2016. It was on off-Broadway, I think, and it actually got extended. It did really pretty well.
Really?
But it never obviously made it to Broadway.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of anybody doing it. But somebody needs to do that now so I can go see it. That sounds awesome.
It's funny because I think it's a great soundtrack, but a soundtrack does not a good score for a musical make.
Something borrowed, something new.
I'm just like, what storytelling are you doing in all those moments, right? Because it doesn't, usually with musicals, sometimes the music pushes the story along. And in this case, I feel like It's just good background. It's great
Yeah.
music, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like good musical music.
Love me.
Maybe they'll have like a fun little melody, like the elephant melody, and
Yeah,
and Moulin
Moulin
Rouge.
Rouge,
Yeah,
yep.
that'd be fun.
Sarah Michelle Gellar actually does the opening spiel in it, though. She's like, "You assholes better turn off your phones, or I'm gonna destroy you on your Facebook accounts." So she does like the opening
I
thing.
would be so terrified of her.
But the director wants to just do a straight play, and that's his goal. Actually, is he's starting
that would
that kind
probably
of
be best.
transition. He's like, think about the show. It's tons of like 2 or 3 person scenes that just have like different locations. It's the easiest play.
Yeah,
And so that's what he's trying to get
I
done.
think it would actually be a really good play.
Mhm.
I think maybe it already is a pretty good play.
Called Dangerously Sus.
Les Ondes Dangereuses, maybe?
Now, we talked about cruel inventions. In Germany, this movie has another name, Rach.
Oh, okay.
It is Scout Ungal, which means...
Don't sleep with your stepsister.
No. Here, really listen to the words.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to get it,
You
actually.
think so?
Scout Engel. I'm going to do like a transition.
I don't know any German.
Scout Engel. A scout angle. I scout
Ice
angel.
angel.
Ice cold.
Ice cold angel.
Angels.
Ice cold angels?
Ice cold angels.
Why'd you just say it like that?
Ice cold angle.
Ice
cold angels. You can hear it now, right?
I can't unhear it now. Ice cold angels.
Yeah, it's really just say
It's
you really
very-
just say ice cold angels in German and you've got it.
Yep. Ice cold angels.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
So
I think
poetic.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, Entertainment Weekly
Mm.
says this is one of the 50 sexiest movies of all time.
All time. Yeah, if we're saying sexy, we're not
Sexy.
saying romantic. We're not saying
Sexiest movies.
teen
Sexy,
movies.
sexy.
I think I would say, yeah, I think it's definitely a top 50 sexiest movie of all time.
Okay.
I don't know where. I'm probably higher on that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm trying to think of other, like, what movies that I would call sexy. Not romantic, but, like, specifically sexy.
I wrote some of them down that kind
Oh.
of sparked for me,
Please.
and I'll be curious what you think. Number 1 is a movie I've never seen, but I thought you'd want to know what was number 1.
I would want to know.
Out of Sight with George Clooney and J-Lo came out in the 90s.
Oh, I know of this movie, but
Oh.
I've never seen it.
It doesn't look sexy when I looked up the picture for the VHS. It's not like them laying in bed,
Yeah,
cuddling or anything.
nothing like that.
It's like it looked like they have guns and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's a spy movie.
Yeah, so
Spy movies are very sexy, though. There's probably a couple of sexy spy movies on there.
Do
if
you
I
want
was
to
gonna
guess? There's a
There's some
sex
007s on there.
there's a sexy spy movie literally at number 3
Oh,
with a couple.
with a
I'm not crazy about this movie, but you might really like it. Came out in the early 2000s.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yep.
No.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is number 3.
That's pretty sexy.
You'll never guess what number 8 is.
Right. We're going to skip past
Okay.
everything else and go straight
Well,
to 8.
yeah, because I don't know some of these movies, so I only picked a few.
Okay.
Number 8. My mom would maybe say this is one of the sexiest movies of all time. She loves this movie, especially at Christmas.
She loves
so sexy.
Last of the Mohicans.
Yes.
What?
Number 8 on the sexiest movies of all time list. Last
No.
of the Mohicans.
No, that's not sexy.
Yeah, so sexy, baby.
Romantic. and
Romantic.
epic is not the same as sexy.
Sex. Number 13. This movie is sexy. This is a top 10er for your husband.
Oh, okay.
New top 10.
A new top 10.
Newish.
Newer.
Saw it in grad school.
And it's very sexy.
Very sexy.
Is it Shakespeare in Love?
You got it.
Ooh, okay.
I was not in a very sexy
See, I
production.
think that's more
but
romantic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
That's
think
the
it's-
hard part. Like,
Yep.
maybe it's both.
Well, let me
It's
ask you
both,
this.
Maybe.
What do you call The Notebook at number 19?
Romantic.
It says it's sexy.
It is sexy. It's hella sexy. I can't.
Hella sexy.
I
Are you
can't
kidding
decide.
me? That
Yeah.
in the rain, that's more than romance.
It's more
That
than
is
romance,
sexy as
passion.
hell, girl.
There's such overlap. It's so complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say number 20? and Jack's book of boobs and having sex in the
Titanic
cars.
is sexy?
Titanic, sexy.
Like,
Jack and Kate.
Like, a scene from it is sexy, but that's it.
Sexy. And then number 28, you're going to love this one. Coming in 4 spots ahead of Cruel Intentions. One of Rachel's favorite movies that I think you would say is sexy.
One of my favorite
You
movies.
love this movie when you're in high school. You used to watch it and dream about it, and you're like, oh, I love this movie. I relate so much to these characters, even though I'm not black. I want to be. I love this movie.
I can't even think of the name of it now. Sean Patrick Thomas,
Love
my boy.
and
Love and
basketball.
Oh, Love and Basketball.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
I
that's
thought you were
not
talking
Sean Patrick
about
Thomas.
What's the
Say the Last
Say
Dance?
the Last Dance.
No,
I was
because
like,
you don't have to be
that's
black in
sexy?
that.
Well, you have to if you want to dance and you want to appropriate
Yeah, that's true.
the culture. Oh yeah, Love and Basketball, very sexy.
Yep. See, I knew you'd think that one was sexy.
No, all of these movies are just regular movies that have sexy sex scenes. They just all have really good
Okay.
sex scenes in them. That's the only thing that's making these sexy.
Okay, Rachel Ann.
Okay.
What are some sexy movies then? You tell me.
I mean, this movie would be a sexy movie.
Okay.
This is a sexy movie, and it's not a romantic movie. I
Okay.
don't think. I would not call this a romantic movie
Sure.
at all, really.
Okay. What else?
And it has more than just like one sex scene that makes it sexy.
No, I get it.
All those other movies only have one sex scene that makes them sexy.
Okay, what? Give me other sexy movies.
There's no sexy movies.
It's just Cruel Intentions.
It's just
number
Cruel
1.
Intentions is number 1. Cruel Intentions number 2.
Cruel Intentions 2 is number 2.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. It's a very short list. I'd say it was a good list.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Okay.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Hey, when does Sebastian become bearable as a human being in this movie?
I don't know. I don't.
Does he ever become bearable? Does he ever win you over?
I mean, yeah, as an actor, I really enjoy the scene where they fight and he like lies to her to break up with her. Yeah, I don't know though. Like he kind of, and then like a little bit after that, right? Like he's like obviously in love and he's got flowers and stuff, and he like kind of pushes away his stepsister when she tries to like make out with him and stuff. So I guess like, oh, okay, you're starting to like be a human again. Yeah, I don't know. He's just like a really terrible person. It's really hard. And can we talk about this scene where it's supposed to be like a turning point, but like it still feels so phony to me because I think a part of it is like the scene itself and like maybe
Is it the car?
yeah, the car scene with the she's trying to make him laugh.
Yep.
And she makes these like really like silly faces, which whatever, but like
And she
it's
says
like,
it's okay to smile. I won't tell anyone.
yeah, but like he laughs, but he still has been so phony up to that point that I still feel like it's very phony laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's not funny, and so like I also feel like I don't trust him yet.
Yep.
But she all of a sudden like trusts him,
But
and
that,
I think that's crazy.
think that's the moment you're supposed to feel like he turns.
Yeah, but I don't feel that.
I don't either. To me, that he doesn't turn until he has the chance to have sex with her.
Yeah,
And then he
that's the
says,
moment.
"Pull it together, you pussy." That's the moment.
That's the moment.
That's the
Yeah,
moment
when
where
he
I'm
says,
like,
I can't,
oh,
and he leaves. Yeah.
He's a good person now.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel it.
Yeah. I think that's where you're supposed to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think you're supposed to feel it in the car.
I don't, though. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's just faking it still.
Mhm, I do too.
He's not genuine enough. And if that was his choice to continue to like be faking it, then brilliant acting. But I think he was supposed to like give a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I think maybe the scene just itself is not enough. Like I think I needed a little bit more vulnerability between the two of them. I don't know.
Yep.
That was a bit of an eye roll for me, that scene.
Sure.
And it never used to be, but I'm an adult now and
Is
I'm watching it.
Because of Reese's faces, or why was that an eye
Yeah,
roll?
I just think it just needed the writing of that scene. It just should have been better.
Oh, okay. Well, you might be dissing Reese right now because she probably helped write that scene.
Well, maybe I am, but she's doing just fine. I
that's
think
true.
she can handle
Yeah,
it.
right.
Too.
Big Little Lies was stupid.
Oh,
what a
sick.
dumb show.
Yeah, right. You loved it. You loved it, you liar.
Hey, why does SMG say goodbye, Sebastian? When he like leaves and she's like, I took away the one thing you'll ever love. You're just a plaything a toy I like to play with.
Don't you get it? You're just a toy, Sebastian. A little toy I like to play with.
Yeah.
And then he runs away and he leaves and she goes, goodbye, Sebastian.
Because she knows that he's never going to like pursue her like that again. because like
Oh.
she knows that he's in love with someone now, and that like, and she told him like her plot to like ruin him, and so like he's never gonna like come to her lusting anymore. Like so that's what she means. Like goodbye. Like their relationship is over.
Yeah, like she's so completely destroyed him.
She doesn't know he's gonna die like in 10 minutes later, but she just knows that, like, yeah. Unless she does know.
She's so Machiavellian that she might.
know.
Like Ronald will kill him, or
Ronald will kill him. I am sure of it. He's going to kill him.
Yep. Did you know? So there's that scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar says like he hit me and stuff like that, right? They actually had a scene that they cut where he does hit her.
Oh, seriously?
Where she says all those terrible things and gets in his face, and he actually smacks her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Another smack?
And then they were like, we need to make that. They said that it's supposed to be ambiguous. I just take it as she lied about that. That's not ambiguous to me. Yeah. I don't think he hits her.
Yeah,
we see him run away.
I assume
when
she
would he
lied
have hit
about
her?
it. Yeah.
But the director says, like, we want it to be ambiguous. Like, I don't think it's ambiguous at all. I think it just never happened.
I just assumed that she lied about it because that's what she does. And I think I like that better.
Yep.
Because honestly, he's kind of like not a really redeemable character. And so if you're going to add that in there, it's like, okay, now I really don't care about you.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I've got some more things to talk about, but I want to kick it to you as well. Sure. But I want to let you know some of the segments that are coming up.
Okay.
So if you're like, oh,
I
we'll
maybe
save
can
it.
plug some in.
Problematic Mo's.
Yeah.
Quotes. Romantic Mo's. Acting talk.
Okay.
And hotness.
We have all the things that I need to talk about coming up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Take it away.
Let's start with Problematic Mo's.
Problematic Mo's. The gay slurs in this
everywhere.
movie. Oh, so jarring.
I know.
When you're not ready for it, when
I
you
know.
forget that you're watching like a 90s movie, you're like, whoa, that's right. That's right. That's how we used to talk.
We used to talk like that.
I say we. Collectively,
no,
like,
but it was even like Elton John and Eminem talking like that. You know what I mean? Like back in this time, that was even later. That was in the early 2000s.
Yeah, just like
it's just.
But
like,
it still is very jarring. I would say there were certain words even back then that were very jarring. Like I didn't use like. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to, but even things like when it's like, oh, there's a fudge packer, or things like that. It's like, oh gosh, like that kind of lingo was like that was like everyday lingo for people.
Oh,
like
for
it wouldn't be
sure.
crazy to hear that.
No, not at all.
Which is just, I mean, good that we've like outgrown that. I think we have, but maybe we haven't. I don't know.
Do you think we were the final generation of that?
I hope so.
I
really hope so.
Like the Gen Zers.
I hope that dies with us.
I've never heard anything like that with the Gen Zers. And it makes me wonder if it's like, oh, we're going to be the final generation.
Yeah, that and the R word, I hope, die with us.
Yeah.
I hope nobody ever like finds a need to like use those as put downs for people because it's just the worst. Yeah, so that was a bit like jarring, but also like, oh, that's right, this movie.
Any other problematic Mo's?
Oh, I mean, the coercion of like sex all the time was very like uncomfortable. That's, I guess, what I appreciated about it is it wasn't trying to say that was okay. It was a part of like Sebastian's character that we don't like about him is that he coerces girls into having sex with him. But watching the scene happen while he was doing that, it just like gave me like just really like bad goosebumps with him and Selma Blair.
I used to think the scene was really funny when he would say, "I don't want to kiss you there. I want to kiss you there." And now that scene is so cringy. I literally was like crawling out of my skin. I was like, "Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! This did not age well. I loved this scene back in the day."
This is not sexy. There's not consent here. I don't like it. She's like literally 8 years old in her brain.
Yeah.
That's how she's acting. This feels very weird.
How'd you feel about the step-sibling stuff?
While that obviously is problematic, I think that adds to the taboo of the characters. So to me, that doesn't. I mean, obviously, it bothers me in like the wider moral sense, but in the movie, it doesn't bother me. I think like, yeah, you two are so twisted in the head that like you've convinced yourself like, yeah, we're the only people each other can have. Like,
yeah.
So to me, that still works. To me, that didn't not age
I
well.
thought so
I
too.
think that just works for the weirdness.
But were you surprised that aged okay? Because I was like, oh, the step-sibling stuff is gonna be super weird now going back. But then I was like, oh no. It actually kind of makes sense to me. Like, this isn't that weird.
I mean, they're both like, I'm gonna like sound so weird saying this. They're both consenting adults. I'm not trying to okay that at all. Actually, they're not consenting. They're 17 years old. But yeah, that honestly, like, there were so many bigger fish to fry in this that I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. that's normal.
Yeah. It did kind of feel normal in a weird way.
No, it's supposed to be taboo and it's supposed to be bad, and these two are bad, so it works. It works for them.
Yep. So I'm going to ask you this question one more time because I don't remember your answer. Maybe you did answer it already. Does Sebastian ever win you over?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, win me over in the fact that I'm like, Reese, what the heck are you thinking? Why are you throwing it away to this guy?
You never think that Reese, that
I don't
their love makes
I don't
sense to you?
understand. I used to. I used to think it made sense, but like when I think about the timelines and I think about her moral convictions, I think like, what in the world did you build that on?
If this movie lasted 2 months, would you say the same thing?
No, I would feel differently.
So it's the timeline.
I need
the
more
timeline's
moments.
really what bothers you.
I need more moments of him being a real person and not being like this fake somebody or whatever.
So you maybe needed to see the crack, like the actual crack happen in that car.
I needed to see some moments of like sincerity from him that she catches, not things that he lays for her to see. I want like him to actually like have a genuine like nice moment somewhere, and she sees the real piece of it versus like this like facade that because right now she's just going off of the facade of him, and I wanted to see like a real moment, so then I could like say like, oh, she's trusting her instincts versus like, oh, she's falling in love with this like fake version of him.
Yep.
Because that's all that I ever saw that she ever fell in love with is a fake version of him.
Sure.
She never saw a genuine moment of him until he said no to her when she already offered.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the first genuine like nice thing that he ever
But
did.
I think he's pretty convincing because I think he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
After he kisses her at the picnic.
Yeah.
When he kisses her and he's like, I don't know what to do, and she's like, why won't you just like fall in love with me? Yeah. And then she's like, because I don't trust myself around you. Like that whole scene, I actually do feel like even though he's kind of playing a game, and he even says like, Daddy's got to go to work or something like that to Sarah Michelle Gellar before that.
Yeah.
I feel like everything that happens in that scene is still sincere though. I think he seriously is like, why won't you just fall in love with me?
Yeah.
Everybody else falls in love with me.
Yeah, why is it so hard for you?
Yeah, I kind of falling for you. Like, I don't know how to feel about you right now. This is weird.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, I actually do trust him in that one scene. Let's talk, unless you have more problematic modes you wanted to touch on.
I mean, those are the biggest ones.
Yeah, okay.
For me, specifically, the gay slurs and then
Well, how do you feel about
coercion.
Sean Patrick Thomas, who is apparently in love with Selma Blair, who's 15, and he's at least 18, 19? He's getting ready to go to Juilliard. I think he's taking like a gap year to like study and like get this thing ready for it.
Yeah.
And
I don't like it.
then he hooks up with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It doesn't,
when he's supposedly in love with
look
Selma
great
Blair.
for him. Doesn't look great at all, does
Okay.
it?
So
Kind
you
of a
also-
crappy character.
Okay, so you'd say he sucks too.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of likable people. Like, we're supposed to like Reese, but I'll be honest, like she throws it away so fast that I think like, what is wrong with you? So
Why I chose to wait.
Why I chose to wait for 3 more days. Yeah, and Selma Blair is supposed to be like this like innocent, goofy gal that all these guys fall in love with, and I just think like, what in the world is wrong with these men that are like drawn to this like child?
Yeah.
And maybe I said that maybe that's what it is.
Maybe
It's
that is
really
what
gross.
it is, yeah.
But yeah, I just did not. She was just on another planet. I did not like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I could say.
Do you have any favorite quotes in this movie?
Martin Luther King, he's my favorite. I like that one.
Dr. King is my favorite.
My favorite.
What about this one? After dark.
You
can put it anywhere.
Because I'm the only person you can't have and it kills you.
No way.
You can put it anywhere.
Oh boy, that's very After Dark. Ty Hudson. Jeez.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm blushing for you, Sebastian.
I like the one where she starts with like, oh, silly rabbit.
Silly rabbit. My triumph isn't over her. It's over you.
And then like she
Yeah.
like talks about him being like, "You're just a toy, Sebastian. You're just a plaything." It's like, oh, Sarah Michelle, you're so crazy.
Okay, this is a good time to get into this. So, Rach, after the movie, she comes up to me and she starts like massaging me, and then she starts pretending to be Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, and she licks my cheek.
Don't tell people that.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And then she was like doing some of the lines, and then I offended her so much because I said, you know, you kind of remind me of Sarah Michelle Gellar. And you were so mad. Do you want to explain why you got so mad?
Yeah, because you were referring to the character in the movie.
Yeah,
and
she
I
kept
was
going, not like Reese Witherspoon. I was like,
what?
no, not really.
You think as a character, as like
No,
we're
I
looking at
didn't-
the two characters.
I didn't say character. All I said was, you remind me of Sarah Michelle Gellar. You're the one who took it and ran with it.
Yeah, as one would right after they watch the movie, and you say that.
Yeah, I stick by it.
I am not evil and conniving.
No.
And do cocaine.
Nobody says that you're evil, but you just remind me of her.
Well, if we're gonna say that, like, are we just be more specific, maybe, when you're throwing things out like that, like my nose, my laugh, my fun, bright personality,
I've got it.
my love of Freddie Prinze Jr. What? What is it?
Your ambiance.
My ambiance.
Your aura.
And which Sarah Michelle are we talking about?
Yes.
Such
You just
a brat.
remind me of her, okay? Don't be so offended.
But she always plays like these kind of like
Always
mean
Rach,
girl characters.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I've never seen it, so I don't
Scooby-Doo.
know.
You really
You're
think that's
picking
all
all
she
the
plays?
ones I don't know.
Yeah, you only know her from I Know What You Did Last Summer and Cruel Intentions.
Yeah, and then maybe some other random stuff.
And I would say in both those movies, you remind me of her. I already told you that I loved you turned your back on love. That makes you a hypocrite. Gosh, so good. I used to just commit that to memory and let it just bore into my soul.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, they are hypocrites, Ty. Everybody turns their back on your love.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think of all the romantic moments? The romantic mo's.
What romantic moments?
Like the picnic scene, or when
The
she's coming
picnic
up.
scene where he tries to kiss her and she has to push him off. That scene.
Yeah, it's so romantic.
Is it so romantic?
Or the scene where she's going up the escalator and he's at the top.
Yeah.
It's so romantic.
That's romantic. Yeah, it is.
I still love all that shit. I think
they're
it's so
really
good.
Great images. Like from filmmaking standpoint, I
Yep.
think that especially the escalator scene, like that's so iconic. It's such a
Mhm.
great scene. Movie history
Yeah.
right there. And then yeah, I think the dialogue in all those scenes is great too. I think they're well acted. I think they're good scenes. I don't know if I'm gonna say romantic.
So
but
romantic.
Maybe the escalator scene is romantic. I'm not gonna
crazy
concede on the
romantic.
picnic scene.
Or the scene where she's like, the fact that he doesn't have sex with her when she unbuttons her shirt. How romantic is that? That's romance.
It is weirdly romantic.
It is.
It is.
Pull it together, you pussy.
Well, would you stop saying that? It's like the
so
third time you said
romantic.
it. No, that part is not romantic. That's when he's trying to tell himself to get back into his
But he
evil
can't.
head.
But he can't because the egg's been cracked too far open. The yolk is spilling out. Romantic. I still love all that shit. And the ending totally got me still.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but I had emotion. I was like, oh, buddy.
He's dead. Oh.
You've talked about acting. You loved Reese and you loved Sarah, and then your favorite was Selma. But then, how'd you feel about Ryan?
I think he is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I have some problems.
Yeah, what are your problems?
Well, let me get started on the positive. I have some positives to say first.
Okay.
He makes some really cool choices. He makes some like for example, he walks through a room and he walks up on top of a lounge chair just to go through because he's such a prick. He plays that character so well from that. He like the money piece of it, just like the
way he talks makes me want to punch him at the beginning.
Yes.
He has this way of talking and
even
saying
walks,
things.
If you walk, he walks in straight lines.
Yeah.
He's just
Super
very methodical.
Yep.
Now the way he holds his cigarillos, all those things. Like he's just I like the characterization that he's
Infinitely
done.
punchable.
Yeah, infinitely punchable. And he's such a jerk. But I think the only problems that I have with it are just those pieces about him like being like phony, but then I didn't believe I don't know. There was a line between like, okay, are you trying to act phony, or is your acting actually a little phony?
Sure.
In this sincere moment. It wasn't until we get into the really, really sincere moments, like when he's told no, that I thought like, okay, that was like really, really truthful acting there. Everything before that, like in the car scene and even a little bit in the picnic, a part of it still feels like very like pushy and phony still.
Sure.
So yeah, that would be my only thing. I was just like, Reese, why can't you see through this? Like I can see through this a mile away. Like he's not that good of an actor right now.
But that's because you've seen all the terrible shit that he's done.
It's true. I can't unsee that.
Yep.
Yeah. So he does get better for me, especially at the end. But yeah, he's not as good as the other two, I would say. The other two, I think, are like expertly cast in their positions. What would you say?
I hear what you're saying about Ryan. I think it's valid criticism. And I think Sarah Michelle is on another world. She is just out of this world good in this movie. And I think that Reese is pretty good. That order is probably correct, though. It's probably in that order. What do you think of Sean Patrick Thomas's acting? Really enjoyable?
Always brilliant.
Always brilliant?
Always brilliant.
Always
10
impressed.
out of 10 for me. Love him. We love him.
So here's what I loved. Here's what I did love about Ryan, though. Besides his curls and his hairless butt, I loved the cool shades that he wore, the cool journal that he had, the cool car that he drove, and then I did love that cool long black jacket. Trench coat.
Do you want to go as him for Halloween someday?
Oh my gosh. You should go as SMG in one of her crazy outfits, and I'll go as Ryan.
No, that's a little weird. I don't think we should go as stepbro.
No,
sis.
yeah, that's what we have to do.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yes, it's a great idea. Okay. Well, I think we got through everything. I think we're ready for Rachel meters, unless you have something else you'd like to share.
Let me peek. I think we got it all. Yep. Why does she like him? Doesn't age great. Lots of gay slurs. Dr. King is my favorite. Yep, I got it all.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. All right. So I said, cruel intentions. Does this movie age well? No. Is everyone's performance grounded in reality? No. Does it still strike a chord? Yes. 63%.
Yeah. Okay.
I have it right at last year's Valentine's Day. Safe Haven. They are tied. 63, and Lethal Weapon is in there too. 63. Your turn.
I gave this movie a 73%.
Yeah, you did.
It's above Scarface. It's underneath the Friday the 13th remake. It's extremely problematic. It's got so many issues. But it was so important to me as a young man.
Yeah.
It's like American Pie. When we watch American Pie, you're going to give it like a 40%, and I'm going to give it like an 80%, because it's just, and I'll recognize it's not very good.
Yeah.
I'll be able to watch it and be like, yeah, this movie's just whatever. It's not very good. But for some reason, if it hits you at a certain time, it's like you can never shake it.
Yeah.
It's like it always strikes those same chords in your heart.
For sure.
And this was just too important that I still felt it. I still felt the plucking of the strings.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It
I was
came right
like,
back.
oh, it's still there.
Yeah.
These lines.
These lines
still,
that you memorized in your bedroom mirror.
Yes. These
still
lines
came back.
still ring for me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of incredible.
Well, the writing of those lines is very good.
Yep.
This is good stuff. It's not bad stuff. It's good stuff.
Well, I'm in love. Rach doesn't know this, but I've used that line on her like 1,000 times.
Wait, you have?
Yeah, you've been like, what are you doing? I'll be like, I'm in love. And that's what I'm always quoting, but I don't think you've ever known
I never
that.
knew that's what you were doing.
I'm in love.
Well, now I don't know if it's sincere. Are you just being phony too? Are you just saying lines just to say lines? Or are you really in love?
You were just a conquest. How funny would that be if I like handed you some? Yeah, this would be funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
I handed you a journal and it had everything. It was all like a ploy, our entire relationship. And I was waiting for this moment to be like, I got you. Conquest.
Got me good.
Conquered.
10 years of marriage. You got me good.
See you later.
And I give you a good old slap.
Ow! Ryan Phillippe, we'll leave it with this. he summed up this movie for the director one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you really think this movie's about? And Ryan said, this movie is about how I want to have anal sex with my sister. So that's what we'll leave it with. Cruel Intentions.
No.
A movie.
Wait, what?
About a brother trying to do his sister up the butt.
Ty.
That's what Ryan said.
No. Oh, God. We have to edit that out. We need like a
exact
explicit
quote.
R rating on this episode.
We said this is Summers Off After Dark.
We did say that at the
middle of the
it.
episode.
We did say that at the beginning.
Turn it down, kids.
Oh
Mom
my
and Dad are going to
gosh.
listen to this episode.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a good prep for if we watch anything else explicit in the future, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Sheesh.
All right, well, there she is.
Everybody, I hope you have a spicy, saucy Valentine's Day.
So sexy.
So sexy. Have a sexy V-Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rach, leave us with the quote.
Ah, the quote? You got it. Dr. King's my favorite.
How much sniffing are you going to do on this pod?
I'm trying to get it out of my system now so that way it doesn't impact my performance.
You're like a little boogery second grader right now. Gosh, go have some Campbell's soup and stop sniffing all the time.
My nose is so raw underneath of it because I just wipe my nose all day long.
Like that Campbell's soup commercial where he goes to wipe his nose and his nose runs away on his face. Do you know what I'm talking about? The little claymation boy?
Yeah, that's not Campbell's. That's Puffs. That's for the
Oh.
Kleenex.
Oh, I'm mixing that and the snowman
think
who
the
turns into a boy.
Yeah, the animation is the same.
I'll
I
be
think.
honest, the snowman who always turned into a boy in the Campbell's soup commercial really confused me. I wasn't a fan of that idea because I thought the snowman was so cool, and I was like, oh, he's some freckly little boy. F this
killed
kid.
him. You
killed the
him.
snowman. Bring my snowman friend back.